everybody. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Morag.
And we're back with another Culips episode.
If you want to learn English for everyday use, you've come to the right place. At Culips, we help make English understandable. By listening to our podcast, you can learn natural expressions and conversational structure. If you're interested in learning more about Culips and what we do, check us out on Facebook or our website, culips.com. That's CULIPS.com. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to another Real Talk episode. Real Talk is the series where we take a close look at expressions that are very important for everyday life in an English-speaking country.
And in this episode, we are going to learn how to deal with a particularly awkward situation, which is telling someone who is sitting in your seat that they are in the wrong place.
Exactly. Now, I'm sure everyone has encountered this. You know, you buy a ticket, could be a train or bus ticket, or even a ticket for a concert or event. And then you go to your seat only to find, someone else is sitting in your spot.
I hate that feeling. It's the worst. So today, we're going to learn how to deal with that situation, what to say and how to say it.
That's right. And so today's plan is that we will start by listening to a dialogue where someone finds that their seat on an airplane is occupied when it shouldn't be. And then we'll take a very close look at the vocabulary and expressions that were used to fix this situation. Okay, here's the dialogue. Excuse me? Hi. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure you're sitting in my seat.
Really? Well, what seat am I in now? 15B? No, I actually think I'm in the right place.
Ah, really? But here's my ticket. It says 15B.
Okay. I'll double check my boarding pass. Oh, it looks like you were right. I'm actually supposed to be in 51B.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we sorted that out.
Well, I mean, why don't you just go sit in my seat, the 51B? I'm all settled in here with my bags in the overhead compartment and everything.
Yeah, I'd love to help you out, but I'd rather just stick to my original seat if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.
Morag, have you ever had this situation happen to you where you're traveling and you go to find your seat only to discover that somebody's already sitting in your spot?
Yes, this has happened to me a couple of times. And one time I had a similarly resistant person in my seat. Ooh.
Oh, it's really the worst, isn't it? I hate that situation. Let's take just a moment to summarize the dialogue. Two passengers on an airplane are confused about where they are supposed to sit. The male passenger finds that someone is sitting in his seat. So he asks the lady that's sitting in his seat if she maybe made a mistake and is in the wrong spot. As it turns out, she did make a mistake and is sitting in the wrong spot. But instead of just quickly apologizing and moving to her original spot, she asks the male passenger to go sit in her seat because she's already stored her bags. The male passenger is a little uncomfortable with this situation, and in the end, the woman agrees to move to her original seat. So now we are going to go back slowly through that dialogue and pick out the most important expressions that you really need to know to handle this situation. At the end of today's episode, we'll play the dialogue for you one more time. Okay, so you can review it again at the end of this show to confirm your comprehension. Okay, Morag, what is our first key expression for today?
So, our first key expression is a whole sentence, and it is, "Hi, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure you're sitting in my seat."
Yes. Hi, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure you're sitting in my seat. Now, this is a very friendly and polite way to start that awkward conversation that you need to have when you find someone sitting in your seat.
Yes, the key here is the "I'm sorry, but." Or you could say, "Excuse me, but."
Yeah, something that makes it known that you are trying to be polite about the situation, right? You'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I believe you're in my seat," or "It looks like you might be in my seat." But if you just say, "Hey, you're in the wrong spot," it's going to be too mean.
Technically, you could go up and say to someone, "Hey, that's my spot."
Yeah.
They would understand what you're saying, but that is rather rude.
Rather rude. So these two words, seat and spot, in your opinion, is there any difference in meaning or can they be used interchangeably?
I think they can definitely be used interchangeably.
Yeah. What about this one? Could you say, "Hi, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure you're sitting in my chair"?
Yes, you could say that as well.
So we can use the word seat, spot, chair. These all work for this situation. Cool. Let's look at the second key expression. And it is, "Let me double check my boarding pass."
Let me double check my boarding pass.
Yeah.
So, hey, Andrew, what does double check mean?
Double check means to confirm something or to examine something again. So we hear this expression used by the lady who's sitting in the wrong spot, right? When there's a little bit of conflict there, she says, "Oh, let me double check my boarding pass. Let me examine it one more time just to confirm that I'm in the correct spot."
You could use double check for any situation where you have some kind of ticket, because the boarding pass is an airline ticket.
I don't know about you, but when I'm traveling, I check and double check my boarding pass to make sure that I'm in the right place at the right time.
I do the same thing. Sometimes I will be like in the correct terminal at the correct gate, exactly where I need to be, and waiting for like half an hour. And then all of a sudden, I'll check my boarding pass again.
I also have the habit of double checking that my passport is still in my pocket.
Oh my God, tell me about it. It's like when I'm traveling, it's I don't know, every 20 minutes. I just need to touch it again. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we're
Yeah.
exactly the same. Okay. I'm not the only traveling weirdo out there.
For sure not. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our third key expression. Morag, why don't you introduce this one?
Sure. Our third key expression is glad we sorted that out. Glad we sorted that out.
When do we hear this being said in the dialogue?
The traveler says, glad we sorted that out, after the woman double checks her boarding pass and finds out that she is in the wrong spot.
Right. And so, glad we sorted that out. It's a short sentence, but a little bit complex. What does that phrasal verb, to sort out, mean?
It means to solve a problem or arrange something correctly, just to make everything clear and solved.
Right. So the lady confirms that she's sitting in the wrong spot when she double checks her boarding pass. And then the passenger responds, "Oh, I'm glad we sorted that out. I'm glad we fixed the problem. We solved the problem. Now you can go to your seat and I can sit here in my seat." But actually, that's not what happens, is it?
No, because our next key expression is the woman trying to get out of moving. What she says is, I'm all settled in here with my bags in the overhead compartment. I'm all settled in here with my bags in the overhead compartment.
Yeah. And there's two key parts of this phrase. The first is, I'm all settled in here. And so to be settled in means to feel comfortable and happy in a new situation. We use this expression often when we're talking about somebody adjusting to a new job, or maybe they've recently moved and are living in a new house. And after a while, once you adjust to this new environment, you feel comfortable, you feel happy. We can say you're settled in. And so this lady who's sitting in the chair, this is her excuse. This is the excuse she gives for not moving. Oh, I'm all settled in. I'm comfortable. I don't want to move.
Not a good enough reason.
Not a good enough reason, especially because we can maybe imagine her boarding the airplane just 5 minutes ago, right? How did you get settled in so quickly, lady? What about this next part, the overhead compartment? Because she says, I'm all settled in here with my bags in the overhead compartment. What is the overhead compartment?
Well, the overhead compartment is the name for the bins above airline seats where you store your carry-on luggage. It's just a specific term for those storage bins.
Yeah, the storage bin. So this is the second part of the lady's excuse, right? Oh, my bags are in the overhead compartment. I don't want to take them out.
To be fair, that usually is moderately annoying. to get bags in and out of there, but, still very silly.
It is a little bit annoying. I agree. The whole situation is annoying.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so let's move on to our fifth key expression. And after she says, I'm all settled in here, the man responds, oh, sorry, I'd rather just stick to my original seat. Meaning he wants to sit in the original seat. He wants her to move so he can sit in the seat that matches his ticket number.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So one of the things in this expression is stick to. So that can be a little bit complicated. What does stick to mean?
Okay, so stick to. This is a very nice verb, to stick to. And when we're talking about a rule or a law, in this context, a rule or a law, when you stick to it, when you stick to the rule or the law, it means that you obey and you follow the rule. So in this situation, the passenger would like to follow the rules of the airline by sitting in the seat that matches his ticket number, right? He just wants to stick to his original ticket number.
Man after my own heart.
Do you stick to the rules often?
Yeah, I do.
I'm kind of like that also. I've been in situations in airplanes or trains where people are sitting in my seat and they say, oh, it's okay, just sit beside me. Or just sit, there's a free seat right there. Just
You're
sit there.
No.
And I don't like to do that. I like to stick to the rules because later on somebody will come and I'll be sitting in their seat and it's awkward and then everybody has to move.
I understand. I'm the sort of person when I'm driving, say I'm driving in the middle of the night and there's no one around, I still use my turn signals.
I like it.
All right. Well, we've got one last key expression.
And in my opinion, this is one of the most useful expressions in the dialogue because you can really use this expression to get something you want without coming across as super rude. So it's kind of a way to be polite, but firm at the same time. And this expression is if you don't mind. If you don't mind.
If you don't mind. Yeah, it's a very useful expression.
If you don't mind, now, I just said it's a way to be polite, but if you speak with anger at someone or you are visibly upset and you can hear that rage in your voice, it will come across as rude. But you can use this expression if you stay calm to really show that you are serious about what you're saying. So in this dialogue, we hear this expression being used when the traveler says, oh, I'd rather just stick to my original seat if you don't mind. So he's really being clear here that there's no room for negotiation, right? He's made up his mind and he wants to sit in his seat.
While it might sound like he was leaving it open, the if you don't mind at the end makes it that if the other person disagrees, they are in the place of being rude.
Right. That's the beautiful thing about this expression, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say, yeah, I do mind, I'm not going to move, well, then you look like the jerk. It's a way to politely scold somebody for breaking a little rule of society.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't mind, in summary, it's just a very useful expression for politely scolding someone when they commit a small social faux pas or they break a small rule of society. And Morag, it's time for my favorite part of a Real Talk episode. Quiz time.
Yeah.
Quiz time. So I think what we should do for today's quiz time, let's try using the expression, if you don't mind, in a new context. So we can use this in a new context when we want to be polite but firm at the same time. So everybody that's listening out there, we're going to give you about 30 seconds. Try to think of a different context that you could use this expression in, if you don't mind. And after 30 seconds, Morag and I will share some of the ideas that we came up with. So here you go. Here's 30 seconds to put on your brainstorming hat and think of some answers. Time's up, Morag. Time's up. That's been 30 seconds.
All right. I think I've got something.
What did you think of?
So I was thinking if somebody is smoking around you outside, like a lot of people don't really like that. And it's not super polite to smoke right near someone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had that problem and you wanted to tell someone to move, you could say, could you go smoke somewhere else if you don't mind?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one. That's a good example. Go smoke somewhere else if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's a strong statement, right? It's very firm,
Yeah.
but it's not super rude.
No, not at all.
Yeah, all of the words are polite, and you're very strongly telling someone to please go somewhere else with that cigarette.
Yeah, you could also say, could you please smoke somewhere else if you don't mind? And that's a sentence that, said, like, could you please go smoke somewhere else if you don't mind? Super non-confrontational. But you could also be like, please go smoke somewhere else if you don't mind.
Right, it's stronger.
Much stronger.
My idea was that if someone is being too loud, okay, so maybe you have a roommate or a noisy neighbor and they're just driving you crazy, right? You're trying to study English with culips and you can't because your neighbor's being too noisy. Well, you could knock on your neighbor's door and say, hey, if you don't mind, could you keep it down?
That's a good one.
That might be a little too confrontational, right? Banging on somebody's door. But it works for this context.
It does. And it's a lot more reasonable and polite than just telling someone to shut up.
Yeah, it's much more polite than just saying shut up. I agree.
Yes. But has essentially the same meaning.
Yes, exactly. Did you think of any other examples?
So when somebody jumps in front of you, or if they butt in line or cut in line, you could say to that person, hey, if you don't mind, I was here first.
Or even, let's say, maybe you're at a grocery store, right? People are lining up to go through the checkout, and the cashier notices somebody cut into the line. That cashier could even say, oh, if you don't mind, you should wait your turn, right? You should go to the back of the line. So this is another great example of when you can use this expression just to tell somebody to do something.
Yeah. Tell someone that they have done something not cool.
Awesome. Well, Morag, that brings us to the end of our quiz and also to the end of our episode today.
But don't forget that we will be replaying the whole dialogue one more time right at the end of this episode.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please support us. You can do that by leaving us a 5-star ranking and a nice review on iTunes, or just tell your friends about Culips. That would help us out a ton.
Yeah, it'd be great. Also, if you have any questions or comments for us, please send us a message through our Facebook page at facebook.com/culipspodcast, or you can contact us through our website, culips.com.
That's it for now, folks. We'll be back soon with another episode.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Excuse me? Hi. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure you're sitting in my seat.
Really? Well, what seat am I in now? 15B? No, I actually think I'm in the right place.
Ah, really? But here's my ticket. It says 15B.
Okay. Let me double check my boarding pass. Oh, it looks like you were right. I'm actually supposed to be in 51B.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we sorted that out.
Well, I mean, why don't you just go sit in my seat, the 51B? I'm all settled in here with my bags in the overhead compartment and everything.
Yeah, I'd love to help you out, but I'd rather just stick to my original seat if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.